you?
I hope so. I hope you can help me more than the folk at St David's can. You might well look away, Sergeant Faulkner, for all the good your people are to me.
Acting Inspector.
Come up in the world, have we?
He's gone missing again, has he? Pension day yesterday and your father's gone missing again.
For all your people care?
He'll turn up, Mrs. Clark. He always does.
My father. He gets his pension, then he has a drink and wanders.
Your father's name is?
James Alfred Gallagher. He's 5'6" in the old height. That's how he always says it. Medium build, grey-haired. Lost most of it now, but he had a good head of hair in his time. Ruddy complexion.
You've done this before.
Just the last few years. I get worried sick. And his people are no blessed help.
Right, well, that all seems fine. Fine, except for that. Jacket unfastened, no tie.
Sorry, sir.
Acting Inspector Faulkner.
We were better off Len Murray. At least he was efficient.
Certainly what the Commissioner thought when he grabbed him for a staff officer.
Take a seat, Mrs. Clark. Just what are we looking at here? A medical problem, Alzheimer's?
Getting vague. He likes a drink. He used to take us camping a lot when we were kids. And now when he has a few, he goes off for a stroll in the bush.
Or he goes bushwalking?
Oh, he loves the bush.
Been this rumour going around
Which one?
about this district being 4 sergeants over strength.
We are over strength at the moment, yeah.
About 4 sergeants being transferred back to Melbourne.
Does that worry you?
If it's true, I'm not going on leave tomorrow. I'm the second longest serving sergeant in this district. If it's being done on that basis, if I'm likely to be transferred, then I'm not taking leave. I'll stay here and fight it.
There are other places in the world, Tom, you know. Mount Thomas isn't the be-all and end-all.
So it's true then.
No, mate. Nothing in it. Just the annual rumour.
Well, that's a relief. Nell would kill me if we had to leave here.
What are your holiday plans?
Me and Rob Fleming are going to give the fish a bit of a thrashing.
Oh, yeah, Rob Fleming. Bit before my time. He was a sergeant here before you, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right. He's got a little hobby farm out the other side of Sandy Creek. No one ever leaves Mount Thomas, Ted.
Like the Bermuda Triangle.
Quite like.
We'll see what we can do, Mrs. Clark. I'll ask around.
Such a relief to have someone actually listen to me.
Now, will you phone us when he turns up?
I keep thinking one day he'll break his leg and just be lying there. They do, you know, and they're not found for years.
We'll do what we can.
You'd have to do better than that lot at St David's.
Well, Jim Gallagher will be back home, hungover in 2 days, Constable. I wouldn't waste a lot of time on that one.
Do I take that as a direct order, boss?
What if the woman's made a report? No work to do? I'll pick up about 4:30.
Want breakfast before we go?
Just coffee. I'll see you then.
Okay.
Well, are you going to ask him?
Ask him what?
You know what.
I don't know what.
You do know what.
Boss, the ladies have deputed me to ask you if you've had a chat with Inspector Faulkner about a little rumour going around.
He did know what?
Retransfer of long-serving sergeants going back to town.
There's nothing in it.
Why, is he just going on leave?
Who said I wasn't going on leave? There is nothing in it.
Who are we getting?
Sergeant Glover.
On board.
What's wrong with Sergeant Glover?
Nothing. He's a nice man.
Well, I imagine you'll be flat chat on the highway, Nick.
I imagine I will be.
Yes, you and Sergeant Glover go way back, don't you?
We do, but there's nothing I can't handle. You'll have a big caseload coming up, will you?
Can't see myself being in the office much, no.
Oh, come on, what's wrong with him?
He's a nice man.
He's an extremely efficient officer.
Indeed he is.
Enjoy your holiday, boss.
Because the general duties officers won't.
Good morning. Now, I've had the pleasure of meeting some of you. Good morning, Senior Constable Schultz.
Good morning, Sergeant Glover.
Detective Senior Constable Hasham.
Sergeant?
Introduce me.
Constable Doyle, Constable Patterson.
Excuse me, Sergeant, I've got work to do.
Ladies first, is it?
Alphabetical order. And this is Mrs. Patterson. She's our admin assistant. Excuse me, I've got an informant to make.
Tidied up, have we?
Sort of, yes.
Sort of. Yes. Constable Doyle?
Yes, boss.
Sergeant will do. Get me a box.
A box.
A grocery box.
Yes, Sergeant.
Constable Patterson!
He wants Sergeant, not boss.
Sergeant! Tone it down.
Sergeant?
I'd like to see the rosters.
They've already been done for the month.
Well, if they weren't, I couldn't see them. Could I?
No, Sergeant.
Thank you, Constable Doyle. Hold it up for me. Put them somewhere, and then you can wash the General Duties van. It's a disgrace.
Sergeant.
The rosters, Sergeant.
I think we can do better than this.
The boss did okay then, and he'll be back before the end. And if you'd just tell me what you'd like.
I'm surprised you didn't cancel. Rule number 1 in the force, of course, is never go on leave.
What have you heard?
Old mate down at St Kilda Road. Word is there's going to be transfers.
I checked with Ted Faulkner when I left.
Oh, yeah?
Just the annual rumours. 3 weeks of Charlie Glover. Now he's screaming to get me back.
Randolph Soames. We seem to be having trouble serving this warrant.
He's one of the Sandy Creek Soameses, Sergeant. They're pretty hard to catch.
Well, isn't that our job? Catching people?
Wayne, what are you doing?
I'm gonna go down to Sandy Creek, chase the roadrunner.
Well, don't get it dirty, okay?
All right.
I'm told you're Pat Doyle's little girl.
His daughter, yeah.
I worked with Pat once. Last of his breed. Back then he believed the police should be seen. He believed that crime was reduced when police were out and about rather than sitting around the station.
He still believes that.
And I agree with him.
Well, I'll get out of these then, sir.
Stare at some people, make them feel guilty, show the flag.
Mount Thomas Police. Could you hold the line, please? It's Mr. Mackenzie from the bank wanting to know whether you'd like to go to Rotary lunch today.
Curl. Yeah, Charlie. Delighted. Chance to meet some of the locals.
Constable Doyle!
Miss Donald, good morning. How's the real estate business?
Oh, as usual, waiting for the boom. We've been having trouble with parking again. People will park in the street all day. Makes it so hard for client parking. Oh, no. That's mine. Oh, sorry, that's Mr. Rose's. Oh, I'm talking about other people.
Miss Donald, if you and Mr. Rose parked at the rear of the premises, then your customers might have more space.
Mr. Rose has been parking there 25 years. So how's Tom Croydon?
On leave?
Yes, I heard that.
Since 8 o'clock this morning.
Well, my partner's Rotary, you see. So Tom's on leave and?
And fishing.
Oh, wise, very wise. Oh, if you don't develop interest before, you can't develop them after. Well, that's my experience at least. Oh, there's Mr. Coulter. Oh, Mr. Coulter!
How's it going, Chief?
He's got me after the Roadrunner.
Oh, it's Samesy. You should look up some trees, mate. When PJ wanted to chat to him about some videos, he called him up a tree.
I've looked everywhere for him.
Bet you haven't looked up some trees.
You on the level? If there's any vacancies in traffic, let me know.
No, mate, I don't think so. That's for mature, experienced, rather sophisticated people. Give yourself a couple of years.
See you. Come on down, Mr. Soames. How'd you get up there?
Not saying.
I got a warrant for you.
Not coming down.
They got a sort of neighbourhood watch system going. Except at Sandy Creek, they watch out for police cars and then they bang a bit of fencing iron.
And then they all climb up trees.
Oh, the Roadrunner. Mr. Soames does, yes. He wouldn't come down.
Well, it's your job to get him down.
I don't know how he got up there in the first place. The first branch is 10 metres up. He must have claws on him like a koala.
The Soames family is part koala. It caused a bit of a scandal 20 years back.
You finished?
Yes, I think so, Sergeant. I mustn't keep the customers waiting.
Just serve the warrant. Tomorrow. Now, right now, you can redo the rosters.
Bitch, through here. They don't hire staff from Mount Thomas. They don't bank their money in Mount Thomas. Now they want to send me to jail. This bitch is helping them.
Supermarket car park, spraying graffiti on the fence. They want to proceed.
Mrs. Patterson, some correspondence.
It was a tag. It was one lousy tag.
Wayne, he put a spray can down the front of his pants. Can you do the honours?
Are you sure it's a boy?
Guess. Look, I'm either a boy or a girl. Who wants to search me?
What's your name?
L.T. Brockman. Hey, that's assault.
It's your search.
You're not going to tell my mum, are you?
The so-called graffiti was one lousy bit of paint. It must have been this big.
That's your size, PJ.
You're here to uphold the law, Doyle.
Yeah, now what was the first Doyle transported for, Mackie? Stealing a loaf of bread?
No, if you must know, it was for burning a landlord's hayrick. And what about you two today? The Invisible Men?
Just doing our job.
Oh, can't get you out of the station normally. Lover arrives and you disappear.
And the gangs take over the highways. You'll be glad about that.
Mad Max?
Oh, Mum said I was too young to go to that.
The umbrella keeping your drink nice and dry, Sandy?
Mr. Rose was sitting next to Sergeant Glover at Rotary today.
Gosh, that must have been nice for them.
Little Bird says Sergeant Glover may be joining Mount Thomas Rotary.
He's stationed at St David's.
A very reliable Little Bird. Is Tom retiring?
Not that we've heard.
Well, being transferred, some are, you know.
Should have been a detective, Celia.
I should have been.
It's just a rumour.
Well, because Tom always said to me he'd resign before he let them move him from Mount Thomas. And if that were the case, he wouldn't be living in the sergeant's house and he'd want to buy. And I just happened to have the place for him.
Now, Sergeant Glover is just relieving while the boss is on leave for a couple of weeks. That's all he is doing.
Oh, well, if that's the case... Oh, and I'm sure you know best. I can't quite understand why Mrs. Glover phoned me from St David's today asking about the schools at Mount Thomas. She seemed most concerned.
Celia Donald knows everything that goes on in this town. If she walked in here and told me she'd heard I was dead, I'd check my pulse.
It's not true, Roz. She's only right 98% of the time.
Well, if it's true, I'm putting in for a transfer. There's no way in the world I'll work on the same station as Glover.
You two go back.
Yeah, I gave him a lot of loyalty up, and I didn't get much loyalty down.
What happened?
Just what I said.
Surely they can't do this to us.
Oh, they can do anything they want to us. They can make PJ have a baby if they want to.
Can't make me love it.
Faulkner denied it to the boss's face.
Well, that just proves it's true, doesn't it?
Faulkner's so devious he'd stab a mate in the front.
Well, this morning, neither of you believed this.
That was this morning. Glover's revising the rosters. He's changing the routine.
He's been in there rearranging the boss's office.
I mean, they're inviting him to join Rotary.
He's got his wife running around checking out the schools here.
Do you know how paranoid you all sound?
Roz, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck...
In this town, it's generally a ferret.
Well, we've got to do something. The boss wouldn't have gone on leave if he knew this was on.
Haven't lost my touch.
They love their tucker, this mob.
No? Sign?
Yep.
Just the two blokes I wanted to see. We haven't had a chance to have a chat yet.
The traffic sergeant wants me out in the road, so you have to clear it with him.
Yeah, I've got a heavy workload at the moment, Sergeant. Maybe later.
They always that keen?
Sergeant? Oh, very dedicated officers, sir.
Oh, good morning, Inspector.
Good morning, Mrs. Patterson. From the Brown Owl, I see.
Yeah, Sergeant Glover insisted.
Come in, sir.
What'd you give him the credit for? You could have clinched the job for him. Well, tell me I'm wrong.
Can't.
He's still not back.
Come through. I've circulated descriptions to the local hotels, service stations, any shops he might go into.
He's never been away this long before.
Now, Mrs. Clark, has he ever hitchhiked, accepted a lift?
Oh, you think he might have taken office somewhere?
I don't know him. Could he have?
It's usually just 2 days. 3 days.
But you always feel concerned enough to report him missing.
He's my father.
Getting the Rosses dragged into the 90s, imposing some elementary disciplines. Yes.
Now, gentlemen. Would you like me to pour?
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Patterson. I'll be mother.
Yes, Sergeant.
Mrs. Patterson. The door, please.
Ever get the impression you're being spied on, Charlie?
That could never happen, could it? Not in the force.
How do you like Mount Thomas, Charlie? Nice place to bring up kids, wouldn't you say?
Ted, I spent last night telling my wife that this was just a rumour.
Did you? Maybe she's a better investigator than you are.
They wouldn't talk while I was in there.
Bad sign.
Very bad.
Gotta go see the Roadrunner.
And I'm off to show a presents.
You're not going to leave me alone with them, are you?
Oh, don't worry. They seem to have lots to talk about.
Well, Nell's a little vague about exactly where Rob Fleming and Tom are fishing. Did you know?
Why would I know?
Because you're the second best detective in Mount Thomas.
Not while Celia Donald breathes.
I need to reach him, Chrissy. If this transfer's going through, he needs to be here himself to fight it.
I'm running out of patience with you, Randolph.
Now, you come down now. When I get you, I'm going to chuck the book at you.
So, rocking to Jimbo Mason's all sports ammo and tackle.
Lovely name for a shop. Poetry.
And Jimbo wants to know where Tom is.
Well, he's looking for him too.
Yeah, wants to sell him the business. Tom's always said that if he ever tried to transfer him, he'd quit the force and buy Jimbo out. And Jimbo's got on the best of authority that it's going to happen.
The best of authority being...
Celia Donald.
No, Faulkner and Glover were together for 3 solid hours today.
PJ, you got a moment? I've been wanting to talk with you all day.
Yeah, I've been a bit busy.
You've been busy trying to find Tom Croydon. When you find him, let me know.
I got to thinking last night, Dad used to go fishing with Rob Fleming every year. And in fact, it wasn't until he died that Rob started going with young Tom.
Young Tom?
Age is relative, Maggie.
Good going, Mags. Make a detective of you yet?
Taking credit for Chris's idea.
Gazette owes me a favour. Get out. Top of the morning to you, Sergeant.
That an old Lebanese greeting, is it? Schultz, I want to see you.
Oh, I'm just on my way out, so...
Senior Constable, I want to see you now.
Mount Thomas Police. Oh, yeah, but can you hold on, mate? Barman from the commercial says he's got your missing person, old Jim Gallagher.
Oh, tell him to hold him.
Right, can you hang on to him for a little while? Oh, I don't know, play pool with him, you know? Buy him a beer, talk to him, anything.
You slapped a defect notice on Kel McKenzie from the bank last night.
Yes, I did.
Why?
I was having my evening meal at the Imperial Hotel and was walking home when I observed a vehicle with only one headlight operative. I then proceeded to...
Don't get smart with me, Schultz. Just give me the story.
He was driving on one headlight.
He said he didn't realise.
That's exactly what he said to me.
He had an important dinner to go to at St David's.
Yep. He's told us both the same yarn. Look, there was no way I was going to let him drive to St David's on one headlight. And I reckon the way things are these days, a bank manager wouldn't have too much trouble borrowing a car without any defects.
Which is what he did, and rang me at home late last night. Tom Croydon would have fixed that for you, wouldn't he? Sweet talk Kel. Wouldn't let it go any further.
Tom Croydon would have said there was nothing to fix. Mr. Mackenzie was in charge of a dangerous vehicle. I prevented him from driving it, thereby doing him and everyone else on the road a big favour. Tom Croydon would have sent in the story.
Don't you take that tone with me, Schultz.
I'm not sure what tone you mean there, Sergeant.
When Tom's here, you muck in and help out and don't bloody well work the rule, do you? Look at me when I'm talking to you. How long's it been since we had a conversation like this? 5 years? You had a bachelor degree in dumb insolence then, but now you got a PhD in it.
No, Sergeant.
Since you're traffic and not general duties, I felt I didn't have jurisdiction, and I referred Mr. Mackenzie's complaint to your superior at St David's. Was I correct to do this?
Yes. Yes, you were.
What'd you say to him?
I was very polite.
Oh, no.
Another 10 seconds, I reckon he would have offered to take his shirt off.
Take his shirt off?
Sometimes they have it out around the back. No shirts, no badges, no rank.
Those rocks in the background have to be Bosun's Knob.
I know it.
But to be where it'd look like that...
You'd have to be where the river used to hook around, before she straightened out the 56 flood.
The Billabongs. Dad used to take me there. There were these really deep holes.
Okay. Show me.
PJ? What's he doing out here? I don't even want to think.
How'd you go? It wasn't Jim Gallagher. It was an old guy on a golfing holiday.
Mrs. Patterson,
Yes.
is this the way you always type the date on letters?
Well, that's how Sergeant Croydon likes it.
Well, it's not how I like it. Retype.
So you've been signing them like this for the past 2 days.
Well, then I made a mistake and I'm big enough to admit it. Retype it.
Mount Thomas Police? I'm sorry, PJ's not in his office at the moment. It's the St David's detectives. No,
I'll take it in my office.
So it's...
I'll take it.
I'll just transfer you through to Sergeant Glover.
Did you find the boss?
He can't fight it unless he's here.
I'm running out of options, Mag.
PJ, a word?
I'm kind of busy
Now.
at the moment. Yes, Sergeant.
Randolph Soames.
Still up the tree.
When your appraisal comes up, Patterson, whoever's officer in charge here at Mount Thomas will have to comment on your initiative.
Well, it's for certain. He's going to be taking over.
Got plenty of an initiative.
I just had a call from the D's at St David's.
A call for you or a call for me?
Well, they couldn't raise you on the radio. There was some concern. 2 D's from St David's said they saw you scouting around by the river earlier.
So?
So you're a bit out of your area.
A detective is very often out of his area. I was following up a lead.
What lead?
He's suddenly become my supervisor, Sergeant.
They said you were driving through a stakeout. There's a patch of pot growing up there.
So why didn't they tell me? And why is a uniformed sergeant telling me?
Or maybe they thought it was your plantation. Maybe they don't trust you. Maybe because you're way out of your parish, who knows? They have a request. Don't go back where you're not welcome.
And I've got a request. Your uniform and I'm plain clothes. You stay out of my face. I have had this moron. I'm going to Faulkner.
It's about time.
Nick said you couldn't trust Faulkner.
He's right. I'll go to his boss. Yeah, g'day, mate. It's PJ Hasham here. I'd like a word, unofficial. Yeah, there's a real morale problem building here. Charlie Glover's gone mad. He's totally bloody berserk.
One of your people went over my head.
Any idea who?
I haven't been privileged with that information.
Someone who's been in the job a while?
The level at which the complaint was made, yes.
Though Doyle does have family connections in the force.
No. Fellow who ran the rubber mallet over me this morning hates Pat Doyle's guts. He wouldn't be doing his daughter any favours.
Then I think I know who it is.
Then find him. Make him acquainted with the facts of life.
When is Schultz off duty?
It's a short day today, Sergeant. He's due to clock off at 2 p.m.
Well, when he comes in, tell him I'd be honoured by his presence in my office and don't take no for an answer.
No, Sergeant.
Warrant, Randolph Soames.
I'm coming up with something.
Well, come up with something today, son, or I'll have your guts for garters.
You up there, Randolph? You coming down, mate? Okay. Here we go, then.
That's not legal.
Past caring, mate. Come on down, Mr. Soames.
Delivered that warrant to Mr. Soames, sir. Friendly persuasion?
He finally saw sense.
Good. Senior Constable Schultz, in here. And that'll be all, Patterson. Close the door. Schultz, I can understand you bearing a grudge about what happened all those years ago. Sign of a small mind, isn't it? But you've now stepped out of line in a very big way.
And what's the topic of conversation this time, Sarge?
Well, one of you lot went over my head last night. Not only that, you went over Inspector Faulkner's head, and neither of us like it.
Really?
And I know who it is.
Good on you.
If we're working in the same station, Nick, I need your respect.
Well, I respect your stripes. I do. I just don't respect the man wearing them.
That was 5 years ago, Nick.
I don't care if it was 100 years ago. Your car was closer, but I got there first. If you'd have got there when you could have, that woman would be alive today.
I was clear.
By dropping your mates in it. You're a gutless wonder, Charlie.
You off duty?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just clocking off myself. Where do you Mount Thomas pansies normally do this?
The cells are nice and quiet.
Cells it is, Senior Constable.
Sergeant.
We don't want to be disturbed, Constable Doyle.
Look, if this is about the phone call...
He's mine.
Come on!
Shouldn't we do something?
What do you suggest? Call the cops?
Next time, complain to me direct.
Are you okay?
Hey. Got a good right hand for an old bloke?
It was about the phone call, right?
Yes, mate, leave him be. Can't be fighting all of us, can he? He's got a very good right hand.
This new fishing spot. Mm-hmm. What's wrong with the old one? Fished out.
I was up the old one about a month ago, and some maniac took a shot at me.
Shot, as in...
Mm-hmm.
You didn't think to report it?
Probably just some city bloke, thinking I was a kangaroo.
Oh, yeah, even I can see the resemblance.
Thanks. Did me a favour, made me fussing around till I found a new spot. It's better, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, I do. The Abbeys were great.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great thing about the bush. You can always find some place where you can just get away from it all.
$3 days. That's how long it takes them to float, right?
Yeah, on average.
3 days. Abbeys are bottom feeders.
Thanks, mate. Try not to think about that.
Boss, where have you been?
PJ's been looking everywhere for you.
We gotta talk.
Can't a bloke take a little leave?
That's the point.
Sorry to bust in on you, Charlie. We've got a floater in the river. Rob Fleming's staying with it, but we'd better alert St David's. It's their patch.
Oh, good day. You give them the details. And then I'd like a quiet word.
So, how have they been?
Well, not bad. Usual paranoia, mutterings behind my back, you know how it is.
You walk into a door or something?
Minor problem.
So, you've given them a good kick up the arse for me?
Yeah, but...
G'day, Tom. G'day, mate. How are you?
Faulkner came in the day after you went on leave and said that I was being transferred to your job in Mount Thomas.
Did he mention what might be happening to me?
Melbourne.
I had to come. I'll resign.
I Now, hang on. I need this like I need a hole in the head.
Join the club.
I've had an application in for Melbourne for the past 3 years. I got kids in school. Lynn's mum and dad, my mum, they're down the city, not getting any younger.
What do you say?
We'll talk to Faulkner. He'll listen to you.
Me? He lied to me and lied and lied.
Hey, look, he can't afford a problem at the minute. He's a favourite for Murray's job. He's got to post 4 sergeants. He did it on time served to make it look reasonable. Now, I want to go and you don't. So...
In the department, Charlie, that's a reason for doing exactly what he's just done.
Tom, please just give it a go, eh?
What do you know about a St David's bloke named James Alfred Gallagher?
Well, every second pension day or so, he takes a wander. His daughter comes in and reports him as a missing person. And he turns up a few days later with a hangover.
So you blokes don't spend a lot of effort trying to find him?
Faulkner's told us not to bother. Why?
His daughter, she came to complain to us. Now, she looks like the sort of person who might carry a complaint very high if she felt she had a grievance.
Well, what's all this about, eh?
Well, according to his ID, James Alfred Gallagher's just turned up again. Surfaced, you might say.
He died in the bush. I suppose that's the main thing.
He loved the bush, didn't he?
It was part of him.
So it's probably where he would have liked to have died.
I think so.
Mrs. Clark will sit you down over here and I can get the paperwork sorted out as quickly as possible. You must want to get home.
Kiddies will have to be told. They did love their granddad so much.
Yeah. I'll be 1 minute.
Now, on the subject of Tom and me swapping transfers, Ted.
The transfers not only have to be just, Charlie, they've got to look just.
But all Charlie's people are down there, Ted, and for some reason I don't understand, he wants to send his kids to city schools.
But, fellas, you know, much as I'd like to help you, a decision has been made.
Good, eh? Well, I'll just do my report on James Alfred Gallagher's death and go back on my leave.
What?
Get James Alfred Gallagher. He was the bloke in the river.
Yeah, he finally went missing for good, eh, Ted?
Charlie, at St David's, we've always followed up the daughter's reports that old Jim was missing, well, thoroughly, wouldn't you say?
Well, I could probably remember something along those lines, yes.
And you did have a watching brief on this disappearance while you were on leave, didn't you, Tom?
Oh, yes, sir. Ted. You'll remember you were here when the daughter came in. And then we had a private word and... well, I imagine I could probably find the diary note.
Yeah, I imagine you could. Now, this business about your people being down in Melbourne, Charlie. How old's your mother?
68.
68? Not young. How's she coping since your father died?
Oh, she's hale and hearty, but it's...
Sorry, Charlie, I missed that.
A bit of a worry to us, actually. Memory lapses, locking herself out of the house. Not as healthy as she was.
Well, that concerns me. Well, your family doctor could almost certainly give you a medical certificate to that effect?
If Mum thought there was a chance of being close to the grandkids, I think she could be quite persuasive.
Then, on compassionate grounds, it looks like we might have to send you back to Melbourne. Tom, I know you've been at Mount Thomas for quite a while, but do you think you could soldier on for a bit?
Oh, if I had to, yeah.
Right then. And in your report on Jim Gallagher, you'll include that diary note.
Oh, if you think it's appropriate, sir.
We need a serious word. We got a problem.
Boss, they're trying to transfer you to Melbourne. Inspector Faulkner lied to you.
An inspector told a lie. Oh, I don't think I heard that.
Boss, you've got to stay and fight.
Look, it's very nice of you to worry, but there's nothing in it. Never has been. If you must know, it's Charlie Glover who's going to Melbourne. Now, I'm off home to do my report, and then I'm back on leave again. Good right, eh?
Believe me, if we were wrong, we did our best. It does have to say something for us.
For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow. And so say all of us.
Very nice. Stick to policing. Oh, thanks very much. Call that a uniform, Patterson? Those boots could do with a bit of work, Doyle.
Boss, while you're away, Sergeant Glover changed all the rosters around, but I wouldn't worry about it. Changed them all back again.
And change them back to what Sergeant Glover wanted. I asked Charlie Glover to put the cleaners through you lot. I hope I won't be disappointed with the result. I'm sure he's brought some very good ideas into play.
There you go. Send him away at boss and he comes to the side.
I've been at stations where the sergeants had a bit of a scare and reformed. Bad news.
Constable Doyle! Where's all my stuff?
Getting it, boss.
Oh, good choice, Mrs. Patterson.
All here, boss.
Good. Hold the box for me. Oh, now, fill me.
Can I help you?
I hope so. I hope you can help me more than the folk at St David's can. You might well look away, Sergeant Faulkner, for all the good your people are to me.
Acting Inspector.
Come up in the world, have we?
He's gone missing again, has he? Pension day yesterday and your father's gone missing again.
For all your people care?
He'll turn up, Mrs. Clark. He always does.
My father. He gets his pension, then he has a drink and wanders.
Your father's name is?
James Alfred Gallagher. He's 5'6" in the old height. That's how he always says it. Medium build, grey-haired. Lost most of it now, but he had a good head of hair in his time. Ruddy complexion.
You've done this before.
Just the last few years. I get worried sick. And his people are no blessed help.
Right, well, that all seems fine. Fine, except for that. Jacket unfastened, no tie.
Sorry, sir.
Acting Inspector Faulkner.
We were better off with Len Murray. At least he was efficient.
Certainly what the Commissioner thought when he grabbed him for a staff officer.
Take a seat, Mrs. Clark. Just what are we looking at here? A medical problem, Alzheimer's?
Getting vague. He likes to drink. He used to take us camping a lot when we were kids. And now when he has a few, he goes off for a stroll in the bush.
Or he goes bushwalking.
Oh, he loves the bush.
Been this rumour going around.
Which one?
About this district being 4 sergeants over strength.
We are over strength at the moment, yeah.
About 4 sergeants being transferred back to Melbourne.
Does that worry you?
If it's true, I'm not going on leave tomorrow. I'm the second longest serving sergeant in this district. If it's being done on that basis, if I'm likely to be transferred, then I'm not taking leave. I'll stay here and fight it.
There are other places in the world, Tom, you know. Mount Thomas isn't the be-all and end-all.
So it's true, then?
No, mate. Nothing in it. Just the annual rumour.
Oh, that's a relief. Nell would kill me if we had to leave here.
What are your holiday plans?
Me and Rob Fleming are going to give the fish a bit of a thrashing.
Oh, yeah, Rob Fleming. bit before my time, he was a sergeant here before you, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right. He's got a little hobby farm out the other side of Sandy Creek. Yeah. No one ever leaves Mount Thomas, Ted.
Like the Bermuda Triangle.
Quite like.
We'll see what we can do, Mrs. Clark. I'll ask around.
Such a relief to have someone actually listen to me.
Now, will you phone us when he turns up?
I keep thinking one day he'll break his leg and just be lying there. They do, you know, and they're not found for years.
We'll do what we can.
You've had to do better than that lot at St David's.
Well, Jim Gallagher will be back home hungover in 2 days, Constable. I wouldn't waste a lot of time on that one.
Do I take that as a direct order, boss?
Not if the woman's made a report. No work to do? I'll pick up about 4:30.
Want breakfast before we go?
Just coffee. I'll see you then.
Okay.
Well, are you going to ask him?
Ask him what?
You know what.
I don't know what.
You do know what.
Boss, the lady